So I am not I don't sew. I mean, I'm not an avid sewer. So as far as wallets or, you know, purses, I'm not sure, you know, if that's what she's referring to. However, I have sewn leather on this particular machine, but you know, it was something like a pocket. So, you know, I wasn't doing anything like heavy. So in terms of sewing leather, you know, you have to get a leather needle. You have to set your stitch length between, I would say 3.5, so like between the 3 and the 4. I mean, that's recommended. So you can't use cotton thread. You cannot use cotton thread because the leather itself disintegrates the cotton. So you have to use something like upholstery thread. I have a link below the video, and I've written out everything, like for the leather, the denim, all the things that she asked about. I gave a guide on what to do, not how to sew anything, but you know, the recommendations and everything. So be sure that you click the link below. So again, no cotton thread. The leather does disintegrate the cotton. And you also know not to, when you're sewing leather, you know not to pin the leather because it leaves permanent holes. So they recommend that you use two-sided tape. Now again, this is just a piece of leather that I found at a thrift store, and I have sewn this particular leather on the sewing machine. And you know, because I guess it's not anything that's, you know, heavy, it worked just fine. Now I wouldn't recommend making a whole wallet, you know, on the machine. So just to show that it does, you know, so if you're just doing something simple, not making wallets or anything like that, again, you do have to have the leather needle, the stitch length being between a 3 and 4, and no cotton thread. No cotton thread, because the cotton thread does, the leather disintegrates the cotton. I probably have repeated myself a number of times, but click the link below and you can read more about it. So then she asked about denim. Again, I've never made like a pair of jeans or a denim dress or anything like that. However, I have sewn pockets. In fact, let me move this just for a second. I've sewn, like I am making an entire handbag. So hopefully you can see this. And as you can see, I've sewn around this denim pocket with this particular machine. So I don't know if you could see like the stitch. I sewn this on my brother because it's like a design stitch. But as far as this Singer M32, I have sewn this particular blue jean pocket on to this bag that I am currently making, and it worked just fine. I didn't need a blue jean needle for that. But in terms of denim, let me explain. You do need a blue jean needle. For light denim, you can use maybe like a 90-14. And for heavy denim, you have to use like 118. And the only thing with denim now, as you can see, I cut against the grain on this particular piece of denim because I'm not doing anything, you know, like with it. But do know that when you're making denim items that you do have to cut on the grain lines to avoid twisting. If you're gonna actually make like a outfit, you know, denim dress or, you know, skirt or whatever, you do have to cut on the grain line to avoid twisting. Now, this is just a piece of fabric that I cut out. Again, I cut against the grains. The grains are going this way, and I cut across the grain. So if I were to make something, I would have to look forward to twisting. And the best thing to do, I do know that when you're doing hems, that you have to reinforce the stitch with the top stitch, because jeans do have, like, they get a lot of stress in them. And then I personally would recommend a longer stitch length. That's what I'm trying to say. So you do remember that your stitch length is here, and the lower the number, the shorter the stitch, the higher the number. Let's see, put this in camera. So your stitch length is here. So the higher the number, the longer the stitch. And I would recommend that if you're going to do a hem in something, to use a longer stitch length. I just wanted to correct that. I was showing that this was the stitch length earlier. It is the tension. My apologies. And the stitch length is here. So I've sewn denim on this machine. Again, it was nothing particular. I was not making like a garment or anything, you know, of the sort, but I have sewn denim on here. So as you can see, it does so simple things, but you know, if you're not making an outfit of some sort, you can use your regular presser foot. And then terry cloths. I mean, here's a piece of towel. So you know when it has the looping on the bottom and the looping on the top, that this particular denim is called a standard. I mean, not denim, terry cloth. It's called a standard terry cloth, meaning, you know, there's a loop at the bottom and a loop at the top. So this is like a standard terry cloth. So, you know, I use them for towels, robes, things like that. And I've never sewn excuse me, I've never sewn, you know, terry cloth on this particular machine, but you know, you have your stretch terry cloth, which is the pliable terry cloth, and it has knit on one side and the looping on the other side. Then you have your French terry cloth. Yeah, is it? Yes, French terry cloth, which also has the knit on one side and the looping on the other one. The only difference in the French from the regular stretch terry cloth is that the French is a moderate level, so you use them more like for sweatshirts and cardigans. You know, you have to pre-wash any terry cloth. You have to pre-wash it, and I want to, because I've never had to do it, I want to say like it's in warm water. I do have a link below, and I did have to look that particular part up. I think it's you pre-shrink it in warm water. Anyway, read the link below. It'll tell you what to do as in terms of sewing terry cloth. You can use cotton thread. Your needle size has to be, well, I would recommend an 80-12. I think there's one other size, but yeah, 80-12. Your stitch length has to be like a 3. And then of course, you know, you use a walking foot or a roller foot. And I'm sorry, so with leather, again, it's in the description below, and I didn't mention that you do have to use a what they call a roller foot as well, and it was another type of foot, but you know, you're more than welcome to click the link below to read more on it. So again, I've never sewn terry cloth on this particular machine, and I don't think that I would be making anything like it. So I noticed that it does snag. You know, it has like a resistance. So, you know, you would want to use your walking foot or rolling foot. So I'm not going to continue sewing because I don't want to tear or bend my needle. So that's terry cloth. And then you have you know, like your linens. Sorry, I should have had all this like laid out and ready. But you have your different types of linens. I didn't have very many kind. I have like this design one, you know, with the raised design on it. And I had this particular one that I almost feel like, you know, like blue jeans, and this one and this one, which I have sewn. And you can use a regular needle with your linens, depending on the type of linen that you have. You can use cotton thread or polyester thread, depending on what you're trying to make. So as far as this linen, that sort of feels like blue jean to me. does so well with the cotton thread. And I do have my stitch length at well, I got it between my 1 and 2 here. So as far as your tension goes, you do have to have it you know, recommended when you're doing your linen on 2, and then your stitch length between 1 and 2, and that's just for me. So this here is a heavier linen. I'm going to leave everything the same. Let's see what happens. So it done quite well. And then you have your more like napkin linen, which, as you can see, this was a napkin. And I'm going to leave everything the same, my tension being at 2 and my stitch length being between 1 and 2. I am using cotton thread. So that came out okay. And then I have this more this is a linen too. It just has the raised design on it, and I'm going to leave everything the same. Again, my tension being at 2 and my stitch length being between 1 and 2. And this came out okay. So again, click the link below for the guide in terms of sewing. Oh, and she said blanket. I personally can't really elaborate on blankets because I've never made a blanket and I've never mended a blanket. Excuse me. So I wasn't sure on that one. That was the only part of the question that I couldn't answer in terms of blankets, because I've never sewn a blanket or mended a blanket. So my apologies for that, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. And oh, don't forget about the giveaway. I am approaching nearly 300 subscribers, and so I wanted to do a giveaway. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And thank you guys for watching.